I'm going to embrace your inner process guy here, Mark.
Yeah.
What's the first step if they want to start to create a culture that embraces learning and mistakes as opportunities for growth?
Yeah. I think there's two sides to that. One is going into, and I think a lot of people in modern entrepreneurship spaces are already doing this, and whether they're working in, let's say, an agile software framework or a lean startup mindset, there's a lot of this thinking out here that's, I think, helpful to learn from and build upon. One is sort of like stating the hypothesis or the assumptions out loud. Like there's a difference between having an idea and moving forward because we know it's going to work. Like we may be fooling ourselves if we feel that level of certainty. That level of certainty usually doesn't exist, even though we may crave that. But I think stating, there are different lessons I've learned of asking the question, like, as we move forward, what are critical assumptions? Like what must be true for our idea to be successful? And to think that through and to state it out loud, and separating the difference between what we know and what we assume to be true. And as we move forward, we can hopefully replace assumptions with facts and knowledge. So I think there's that first step that tees up this iterative approach to improvement or innovation. Then the second piece is being open to the real possibility that things are not going to go as we expected, that some assumption on some level turned out to either be partially true, not true at all. If we're not willing and if we're not feeling safe to admit that for different reasons, we're going to kind of stubbornly keep plowing ahead instead of being able to adjust or pivot or whatever word you might use. So I think like there's this interesting mix. You see this in entrepreneurs, like the level of confidence it takes to start a business. Eric Ries from the Lean Startup Movement talks about this a lot, so I'll credit him. This mix of like the confidence to say, I'm going to start something, but also having the humility to say, I don't have it all figured out. So I better be open to learning from mistakes and not shaming myself over that, but instead learning and moving forward.
Okay, so being able to do that. So I think you're speaking to a very important point, but one that can be hard for some people is the ability to understand and see what is an assumption versus what is fact. I think sometimes a lot of us walk through life just saying, oh, well, this is the way it is. And really, we're basing it on a whole lot of assumptions. Like I'm assuming it's not going to rain today.